Welcome to this Plain Talk mini presentation. Meet Linda and Dave Burns. They've been married 15 years. Dave's star is rising as a mid-level manager in a large public company. Linda's big passion, in addition to her kids, is decorating homes, specifically dressing up luxury properties. Linda and Dave have 3 children, Sam, age 13, Lucy, age 11, and Joe, age 6. Not long ago, Dave and Linda got the idea that it was time to learn something about wills and estate planning. Like many, they have 2 threshold questions. First, do we need an estate plan? Won't a basic will do the job? Second, do we have to use a lawyer? Let's take a look at these 2 questions. Do we really need an estate plan? Won't a basic, simple will do the job? These are fair questions because no one likes thinking about, let alone talking about, death and the potential of tragedy. As for whether you need an estate plan, the answer to the question is no, only if you determine 1, that no one is dependent upon you for their support, and 2, that you just don't care what happens to your property and possessions when you die or are unable to manage your affairs. Most people can't make that determination. Dave and Linda, for example, flunked on both accounts. They have 3 kids that will be dependent on them for a long time, and they both really do care about what would happen if one or both of them died or suffered a serious disability. So like most couples, they need an estate plan. As for whether a basic will do the job, a will be a component of any plan, but it's not sufficient in and of itself for most couples. People of all ages die every minute of every day. We are all mortal. No one is exempt from disaster or death. A quality estate plan will not eliminate the pain for your loved ones, but it can soften the blow and provide a framework for moving forward. Beyond reducing hassles big time and saving money, it will provide certainty to those tough who, what, why, and how questions that surface with every tragedy. It will ensure that your wishes are honored and carried out, that your last chance to spend it will play out as you decide. And perhaps most importantly, all along the way in this crazy world we live in, you'll have the peace of mind of at least knowing that a plan is in place for your loved ones, just in case the unimaginable becomes a reality. Which leads to the next question. Do we need to use a lawyer? It depends. If you choose to use a lawyer, it's a team effort. The lawyer is the builder, you are the architect. The lawyer brings to the effort education, counseling, the building blocks, and an understanding of the legal opportunities and limitations. You bring your own personality, philosophy, culture, priorities, and unique family values. These elements are critical to the process. Remember, this is your estate plan, not your lawyer's. And remember, this is a lifelong process, one that will need to be revisited periodically, preferably every 3 to 5 years. It really doesn't terminate until you terminate. But in this ever-increasing do-it-yourself world we live in, some couples want to save a few bucks by playing both roles, builder and architect. There are all kinds of kits and services available online and in bookstores that makes it possible for just about anyone to prepare a stack of fancy documents. The problem for many is they mistakenly believe, indeed they're led to believe, that it's kind of a paint-by-numbers game. All you need to do is fill in some blanks on a set of stock forms. The truth is that the development of a smart, functional plan for a family requires much more than a stock form with some blanks filled in. It requires a knowledge of various kinds of trusts, the legal and tax requirements and limitations of those trusts, and when certain trusts will need to spring into existence. It requires the careful structuring of life insurance policies to work with the entire plan. And then there's the retirement plans, 401ks and the like. They must be coordinated with all the plan elements. Assets owned by a couple, real estate, brokerage accounts, bank accounts, you name it, must be titled correctly to ensure that sloppy titling does not destroy key features of the plan. And then, of course, there are the tax planning challenges that are so important to many. Plus, there are many key questions that have to be answered. What happens if one of us dies suddenly? Do we need life insurance? If so, how much and what kind? What if one of us is a poor money manager? What if I die and my spouse remarries? What about the kids if we're both taken? What trust structure option best fits our kids or our grandkids? What about trustees and guardians? What are their roles? How do we pick them? What should be our kids' age of inheritance? When they get their inheritance, the property, with no strings attached. Should our planning look beyond our immediate family, to other relatives or to charities? Should we be concerned about death taxes? What is probate? Like so many, should we try to avoid it? If so, how? Who should run the show if death strikes? How can we make that job easier? How can we personalize our estate plan for our kids and our grandkids? How do we plan for a serious incapacity? There are many dimensions to a smart plan, even a simple basic plan. Pieces that must be pulled together to ensure that all things will play out as they should. Any couple that chooses to fly solo in trying to build a quality plan should anticipate a steep learning curve. For Dave and Linda, the question was a no-brainer. Given the demands of their family and their careers, they just did not want to spend time and mental energy trying to be the builder of their plan, immersing themselves in the legal mechanics and the complexities. Plus, they really wanted the confidence of knowing that all elements of the job would be coordinated and handled by a real pro, a professional roughly their age, who could counsel them on key elements of the plan, work with them over the long term, help them with key tax and legal issues that they know will pop up along the way. For example, with the stock options that Dave receives and the planning issues Linda will inevitably face as her business grows. But perhaps most importantly, they wanted the assurance that if tragedy strikes, their hand-picked pro would be fully teed up to instantly step in and handle for the family all the legal chores and challenges of death. The family would be spared the tough task at a very difficult time of trying to find a lawyer to handle the necessary details, while praying and fearing that some blunders in a homemade effort do not result in needless complexities or lost opportunities. These advantages of using a pro made it an easy call for Dave and Linda. One important caution in selecting a lawyer to help with your planning: competency levels are all over the map. There are real quality differences. Do your homework in picking a good planning lawyer. They can be found everywhere. They're in big firms and small firms. Some of the best are in solo offices. You want a person with a deep grounding in planning issues. Someone who keeps up with all the technical changes and who has a practice structured to be there for your family all along the way. The gap is huge between such a pro and a kind of jack-of-all-trades lawyer who, along with just about everything else, claims that he or she can do wills. The latter may do nothing more than take your order, almost as if you're ordering a sandwich, and then fill in blanks in a stock set of forms. Well, that completes our presentation. Our hope is that it has clarified some of the key challenges and helps you better prepare for the planning process. Thanks for your time.